and it's brutal. This is the most difficult thing I think I've ever done.
Even though these words were originally said about the crucifixion season, Jonathan had always struggled while filming The Chosen. He often talked about how seriously he took portraying Jesus and how this deeply enriched him spiritually, but at the same time challenged him greatly. With the crucifixion season, the difficulties he faced increased even more, and honestly, I can't even imagine what kind of struggles Jonathan is going through right now. If you'd like, let's take a look at what Jonathan went through while filming The Chosen and how those struggles affected him. Let's begin with the biggest challenge Jonathan has faced in all the seasons, and that is, of course, portraying Jesus himself. Here's how he describes what he feels while portraying him.
Unworthy, humbling, challenging, I'm constantly challenged by him and the character, and there's always this striving to be more like him in order to be able to play him.
And just like always, he once again shares with us the heavy burden of portraying Jesus, but this time, while filming the crucifixion, perhaps the hardest scene he's ever had to do, since he had to show Jesus in great suffering. The impact of these scenes on him carries a whole different dimension.
And that ultimately we will portray during Christ's suffering and death, his passion. I don't know anything else that could be more challenging to me as a performer.
You can already see how much weight he has lost and how tired he looks. Losing that much weight and getting this exhausted for a role is incredibly challenging. But for Jonathan to go through such physical hardship, playing a character who's at the center of his spirituality definitely multiplied the pain he experienced. The strong words he uses to describe this season's place in his life show once again how truly dedicated and self-sacrificing he is.
It's the most difficult season. It's the most difficult role. And this being the most difficult role in the most difficult season with the physicality that is expected.
Alright, now let's take a little trip back in time, because honestly, hearing about how much Jonathan struggled during the crucifixion is already heavy enough. So before we dive into that tough season again, let's see what Jonathan was feeling while filming the Garden of Gethsemane scene at the end of season 5.
To me, it was devastating, and I was depressed for most of the time we were filming it. Wow. And I think it was on set, people didn't know how to react to me. I kind of felt it was like I was just shut down to everybody.
And what about the physical side of it? When he talked about the effects of the anxiety he felt during the filming of season 5, describing the physical challenges he went through honestly hurt me too.
You know, I was sitting in the hair and makeup chair, and next thing I know, like I get these massive pains, like just shooting up into my ear, and I'm like, is this anxiety? It's like, at one point I had heart palpitations. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just, and I texted my spiritual director who's in the other room, and he's like, I'm saying a rosary for you right now. And in 15 minutes, it all went away and everything was fine.
So does everything magically get better once filming wraps? Of course not, because all those memories, all the struggles, everything you go through stay with you. And for Jonathan, that weight seems pretty heavy. As you might have guessed, the challenges he faced didn't just stay on set or in interviews. They showed up in his personal life too. When he's asked about the hardest parts of the role, this is exactly the kind of thing he brings up. It really shows just how deeply this series has impacted his life.
I think all of it, just trying to make sense of all of it and balance all of it, balance this, the responsibilities of the show with the rest of my life, with the asks and the requests and the other projects.
Just pause for a second and imagine not being able to balance your work and personal life like Jonathan does. Now also think about the spiritual weight of the role he plays. The way his work and personal life blend together shows just how deeply Jonathan lives in a constant state of spiritual intensity. If I find it hard even to imagine, I can't even begin to guess what he must be going through. Alright, now we can head back to that tough crucifixion season. Seeing how much Jonathan struggled even in the previous seasons, can you imagine what he went through during the crucifixion? If you can't, that's okay, because even Jonathan admits how much he hesitated to think about that season.
This was the first time I ever had this, albeit
fleeting thought that I don't want to do this. I've never had that thought before until season 6 started to become, an inevitable reality.
Knowing how much Jonathan would struggle seeing these words is so heartbreaking. Here's a brief summary of Jonathan's thoughts about how season 6 went.
Yeah, all of the crucifixion. The 3 weeks we spent in Matera were probably 3 of the hardest weeks in my career.
Although it was the toughest 3 weeks of his career, Jonathan still put great care into portraying Jesus in the best way possible, making many sacrifices both physically and spiritually during this season. Just listen to how much he struggled while talking about it.
I've been training specifically for this season, and so there's been a lot of self-sacrifice in order to bring my idea of how I want Jesus to feel and look for season 6.
That's how much effort Jonathan put into portraying Jesus the right way. The fact that he can't even speak when thinking about those moments says a lot about everything he went through. But before ending the video, I want to reassure you by saying that Jonathan has a way to cope with all these challenges. None of us would want him to get stuck in such a heavy burden. The method he has found to overcome these struggles truly makes me very happy for him.
Self-emptying. It's basically it. Just get out of the way. Just get out of the way of the Spirit and let the Spirit move and direct me where it needs to go.
What do you think about the struggles Jonathan has gone through? And when you face challenges yourself, how do you find peace within? Let's meet in the comments to talk about it. By the way, if you want to learn about the accident Dallas Jenkins had on set, I recommend checking out this video.